Hi guys, it's Allie. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about some of my grad school regrets. So specifically in choosing a program, what I should have done better before I actually signed up for a program, because while I do really like Arizona State University Online, I do feel like I made some mistakes in regards to the grad school program that I chose. I could have chose one better. I prioritized some of the things that probably weren't as important as they should have been. So I'm just going to jump into the video though, so without further ado, we're going to hop right on in. So the first regret that I definitely have about choosing my grad school program was I didn't look at enough schools. So during this time, I actually just moved to Arizona. I knew that I wanted to get a graduate degree, and I looked entirely online. And honestly, I didn't even look at that many schools. Like, I did some research online, but I already knew that Arizona State University had a huge online program. It was in the same state that I lived in, so if I wanted to meet my professors or if I wanted to try to do some in-person classes, it was an option. But I looked entirely at like a very narrow amount of schools when there's thousands of schools out there to choose from. So while, geographic location might have restricted me in some ways, since there's so many online programs, I really didn't do much research. And in that case, there was a lot of mistakes that I made in choosing Arizona State University, or things that I might regret about my program at Arizona State University. So the first thing is definitely the cost, because my program, while it is cheaper than doing it in person, it is cheaper than a lot of programs out there. If I had gone to a private school, if I had gone to a school in person, it would definitely be more expensive, but it is still a very expensive program, and I could have easily gotten my master's degree cheaper. So my master's degree is specifically in educational technology, and there is actually a program at Western Governors University, which I did not know about, but you basically can get your master's degree in 6 months for $3,000, and I would have been able to do that. So I would already have my full master's degree. Granted, I would have had to work way harder, and I probably would have had to work part-time or something to just bust through my master's degree, because to get it done in 6 months, you would have had to do like a bunch of classes for 6 months. But I would have been able to get it done, and I would have saved so much money on my master's program. And while I'm financially managing, paying off my tuition, paying tuition every class, it's still definitely a huge difference. I could have saved myself $10,000 to $20,000 based off the school that I went to. So I definitely regret that. I think, when I was originally focusing on what programs I was going to look at, I knew Arizona State University had an amazing online program. It's, ranked nationally. It's got an amazing program. It's an amazing school. So I was kind of biased by the reputation things associated with Arizona State University, when I could have easily gotten the same master's degree at a different school that might not be as well known, but it's still a master's degree. It's going to be cheaper, and it still matters. The difference between getting one at Arizona State University versus a smaller, less popular school isn't going to be a game changer. Someone's going to just see my master's degree and be like, oh my gosh, she has a master's, versus I feel like with a bachelor's degree, it's more important because that's the foundation of your education. So if you choose your bachelor's degree from a school that's not very well ranked or not a very good school, there might be a little bit of a difference in what employers view for you. So if they see your bachelor's degree at, I went to University of Minnesota. So if they see your bachelor's at University of Minnesota, that's going to look a lot different from Harvard University, for example. So while, University of Minnesota is a good school, it's not going to be a Harvard level school, right? So I feel like the bachelor's degree matters more, when in reality, my master's degree probably didn't matter. So I didn't really need to get a master's degree at one of the highest ranked schools in the part of the country I was living in or in the nation. So definitely a consideration. So money and I cared too much about reputation, I would say, for sure. The other thing was I cared too much about the GRE. So I was really intimidated by the idea of just taking the GRE, because I hadn't taken a standardized test in years. I hadn't taken a real math class in years either. So for example, at the end of my senior year in high school, I tried to take a basic math class so that I didn't have to take calculus and go higher level math. In college, since I didn't have a master's degree, or not a master's degree, a bachelor's degree that really needed like serious math skills, I only took statistics to get through my math credits. So and it was social statistics at that, so it wasn't like the hardcore high level statistics class. So I was just really concerned with the amount of studying and work that I was gonna have to do well on the GRE. And by not deciding to only look at schools that didn't have the GRE as a requirement, I really narrowed my pool, because most schools require the GRE. It's just like a standard. You have to take the GRE to get a master's degree in a lot of schools. So I didn't even consider schools that didn't have the GRE. And in reality, that 100 hours of studying or something is nothing compared to, saving thousands of dollars or just having more options out there. I really limited myself in options. The second thing that I was really concerned about is that I didn't look hard enough into my program. So once I knew that I wanted to go to Arizona State University online, I did not look hard enough into the program that I was getting into. So I specifically went for my master's degree because I wanted to get I wanted to be able to teach technology. I wanted to have a computer science teaching license. But I didn't look hard enough into the actual program and into the Arizona guidelines. So my master's degree, while it is going to be able to get me a teaching certificate, it's not going to get me the specific one that I was looking for. So it's not going to get me the computer science teacher endorsement. It's specifically going to get me the educational technology one, which I think all in all that actually is a blessing in disguise, because getting a teaching certificate in educational technology gives me more job opportunities. It lets me become a director of educational technology or a technology coordinator at a school. It gives me more job opportunities than specifically a computer science teaching certificate. But since I was going specifically for the computer science teaching certificate, I could have gotten a degree in cybersecurity or something that was more technology oriented, not technology oriented, but computer science oriented, so that I would have actually been able to get the computer science teaching certificate. So I think, ultimately I think it was a good choice, because I'll have more opportunities, I'll be able to do more things. But it just wasn't actually exactly what I wanted to do. And I've already noticed with my program that it's not very graphic design, cybersecurity. It's not very focused on materials that I'm actually going to be teaching in the classroom. So a lot of my master's program isn't actually teaching me about teaching technology in the classroom. It's teaching me how to create lesson plans. It's teaching me how to use educational technology. It's teaching me how to be an instructional designer. It's teaching me a lot of a wide range of different classes, but it's not specifically teaching me how to teach technology in a classroom, which, while I already have experience in that, I know how to do that sort of thing. It would have been nice to have more classes specifically focused on teaching technology in the classroom. So it is giving me resources. It's showing me, what makes a web page a good resource for a classroom. So, for example, knowing that sort of thing is going to be helpful in the classroom, but it's just not specifically designated towards what I'm doing, what I want to do in the near future. So looking back on that, I might have been better off if I had chosen a program at a different school that was a little bit more focused in just getting a computer science endorsement or something. Because while educational technology is going to be essential, it's going to give me a lot of opportunities down the road, and it's been really helpful so far. It's just not designated towards what I'm specifically going to do once the master's degree is done, and starting this August, it's what I'm going to be doing, teaching technology. So it's not designated specifically towards that. So the third thing I would definitely say, and also Barb wants to say hi to you guys. He's very determined to hang out with me while I'm filming today. But the third thing is definitely, I think I started my master's degree a little bit too early. So my reasoning behind this is, first of all, I knew my whole life I always wanted to be highly educated. I always knew I wanted to get a master's degree. So I don't regret getting the master's degree at all. But I think that I could have waited a while. I could have worked more in a school setting before I started my master's degree. I was determined that the sooner I get my master's degree, the more opportunities will arise, which, while that is the case, I still could have been teaching, I still could have been building my experience, and I think a little bit I put those sort of things, so building my background, building my work experience, I think I put some of those aspects on the back burner because I was so focused on getting my master's degree. So while I definitely am excited to get my master's degree. I think I did it too soon. I almost feel like if I had waited another year, saved more money, focused on my career more than my grad school, then I might be a little bit farther ahead or just feel more experienced, more educated in the classroom than I do right now. So that is a consideration. I don't regret getting it, but I think I could have waited a little bit longer and prioritized career first versus getting my master's degree. Number 4 is definitely kind of coinciding with number 3. It's that I started my master's degree too early and I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted my master's degree to be in. So to be honest, I think you guys saw my last grad school video, but I just have so many ideas and so many things that I would want to do that it's very confusing, and not knowing exactly what master's degree is right has been an issue that I've noticed. So I think, for my immediate interests, working with kids, working with technology, it's definitely a reliable and a good master's degree, but I just have so many interests that I'm not sure what my 5 years from now looks like, what 10 years looks for me. So I was, thinking that it would be really cool to be a principal, but to be a principal, I have to get an entirely separate lesson or master's program. That's my phone, sorry about that. So I have to get an entirely different master's program. So if I had waited, maybe the principal license would be better for me. Also, I've been considering, I would love to be a professional YouTuber, create my own business, working on Twitch, doing a couple of different things at once is kind of my goal, but working for myself would be awesome. And you don't need this master's degree to do that. If anything, maybe getting a digital audience degree where you specifically study marketing and how to market yourself better or how to do graphic design better. Those sort of things might have helped me more if I wanted to do this specifically. The other thing I've been considering is I think real estate license would be really cool. I've been fascinating with buying houses. I think just the process of buying my own house has really put into perspective how interesting working in the home buying industry is. I almost think that down the road I would love to own multiple properties. I would love to be more involved in the real estate business, and to do that I need a real estate license. I do not need a master's degree. So unfortunately, I just have so many interests, and I even have more which I will talk about in later videos. So I think, looking at that, I could have waited longer, just focused on teaching for a while, building my experience without my master's degree, and then kind of reassessed in 3 years down the road what it was that was going to motivate me, keep me engaged for a longer period of time. But to be honest, I think I might just do a bunch of different careers over my life. So I'm not too worried that I'm getting this master's degree because, as I mentioned previously, I have always dreamed of getting a master's degree and being highly educated, and I think this is still a good degree for a lot of those different aspects as well. So I can still use my degree for having my own business, creating online courses. It can still be very helpful in a lot of the other career options that I like, but it's not, necessary to all of them. So, depending on what I do, I might not even use my master's degree down the road, but we will see. My 5th regret is definitely the fact that I didn't choose potentially to do it in person. To be honest, I didn't even consider doing my master's degree in person. I was entirely focused on working, making money, and doing it online, so I did not have to do it in person. And thinking about it now, I think that was not the best decision because I actually enjoy doing classes in person a lot more. I love meeting my professors. I love being engaged in a lecture setting. And unfortunately, with my master's program, they don't really do any, they don't do any lectures. So I feel like I'm missing a part of my learning experience by doing it online. And I think I also missed just connecting to other classmates. I feel like it's a little bit awkward. We do these video discussions where we have to film ourselves discussing things, and we do typed up discussions, but it just feels a little awkward. It doesn't feel real. I don't feel like I actually connect to people through these outlets. So I would have loved to do it in person, but I didn't even consider it, to be honest. With Arizona State University, there is a in-person educational technology master's program. So I could have done that, but unfortunately by choosing the online option, they don't really let you do a ton of, in-person classes. There's not a lot of wiggle room there because it's an entirely different program. While it's the same classes, it's entirely different. So they were if you do the online thing, you have to consider you probably aren't going to be able to do any of the stuff in person. I was like, yeah, no worries, I don't want to do anything in person. But looking back now, I'm like, I probably would have enjoyed if there was like a blended component where I did half and half, so half online, half in person, because I just feel like I'm missing a little bit, and I am a very like social person. I find it so interesting to interact with people in person about learning, and I do feel like I'm missing a little bit. And specifically for me, I do think that the in-person or part in-person would have been a better option. So oops. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, I think with decisions in our lives, we always have to reassess and look down the road whether or not they're the best decisions. And while I don't regret signing up and doing my master's program, I definitely know that there's a couple of reasons why I regret some of the choices I made. But all in all, I am still really happy with my choices, and I'm really excited to finish my master's program. I'm only 50% of the way right now, but I'm going to be done with it within the next like 6 months, 10 months, I think it is. So we're getting to the last legs of the master's program, and I'm really excited to finish it and to just be proud of the accomplishment that I've done. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe, you know the deal. Let me know if you have any videos about grad school that you'd like to see from me, if you want to know more about my Arizona State University program, that sort of thing, because I'd love to share it. But I'm going to head off for today, so I hope you guys have an awesome day and stay awesome.